What's going on, everybody? Mike here with iSMELL. Hope this video is finding everyone well, that y'all are smelling good and feeling great. As some of y'all might have just noticed from the thumbnail, today we are in fact teaming up with one of my favorite people in this entire community. That's Brian over at My2Scents. So for those of y'all that are new here, this is how it's gonna work. Here in a second, I'm gonna hand it on over to Brian. He's gonna run you through some of his favorite citrus fragrances right now. He'll kick it off back to me, and then I'll be doing the same. In totality, this will be a top 10 list of citrus fragrances which should definitely be on your radar for summer 2022. In the spirit of keeping y'all's attention though, I will go ahead and hand it on over to Brian now. I hope to see y'all back over here in a few.
I mean, look at this guy. Look at him. No wonder he is Fragcom's sexiest fragrance reviewer. What a stud. What's going on, guys? My name is Brian, and I run the channel My2Scents. Mikey, I just want to thank you so much for having me on your channel. I've really enjoyed watching your channel grow. Congratulations on 1,000 subs. And if you have not yet, this is your first time stopping by, do yourself a favor and go ahead and hit that subscribe button for Mikey, man. He is the sports commentator of the fragrance community. But we're not here to talk about Mikey, we're not here to talk about me. No, we're here to talk about some summer citrus studs that are perfect for the heat. And I know Mikey's probably feeling it. He lives in Texas. Of course, it's freaking hot. It's always hot there. But without me just, talking your head off, because I will, let's go ahead and get into the whiffing and sniffing. All right, first up on my list is a 2022 release. It's coming from the house of Giorgio Armani, and this is Acqua di Gio Eau de Parfum. I'm absolutely loving this fragrance. Now, it does not smell like the original Acqua di Gio. If anything, this is kind of a blend, a mixture, if you will, of Essenza and Profondo. What I love about this fragrance is the citrus aspect. I love the orange, the bright citrusy orange right up top. It's got a lot of zestiness to it. It's awesome. It's exactly what I was kind of hoping for. I was hoping this would be, because even though all the Acqua di Gios I think are fantastic for the summer, this one though, I love the citrus aspect, and it's that orange, this beautiful orange. You also get the usual suspects that you do in other Acqua di Gios. You get some clary sage, you get some C notes, so you get that aquatic backbone, and then as it starts drying down, you start getting this metallic quality, and that's really where I think it's got that Profondo DNA in it, because, well, Profondo does the same thing. I get good longevity out of it, I love the projection of it, and it's just an all-around stud in the heat. So, first up on my list, Acqua di Gio Eau de Parfum. This next one is actually my scent of the day, and I'm absolutely loving it. And it's coming from the house of Gallagher, and this one is Overt. Now, Overt. Now, this isn't just citrus. No, this is aquatic through and through. Lots of salty qualities to it, but you're getting a really nice mixture of lemon and mandarin right off the bat, and that sticks around for some time. It's a little riny, it's a little zesty, it's got a little bit of a piffy quality to it, if you know what I mean. It's salty. You're also going to get a nice vetiver in here as well, adding to almost like a dry woody quality in the base, and then a buttload of clean musks. This is an awesome fragrance. I absolutely adore Gallagher fragrances. If you have not checked them out, I'll make sure that Mikey, go ahead and leave Gallagher fragrances down in the description, because Gallagher, awesome house. This one as well has really nice performance. I get good longevity, I get great projection within the first couple hours, and the citrus in it sticks around. At least it does on my skin. I don't know about your skin, but definitely worth a whiff and sniff. So, next up, Overt from Gallagher Fragrances. So you like mojitos? I do. This next one smells just like a mojito. And it's coming from Guerlain, and this is Guerlain Homme Eau de Parfum. Now, the citrus in this is lime, because you can't have a mojito without lime, or rum, and this also has rum in it. It is such a beautiful opening and a beautiful dry down as well, but I absolutely love the lime citrus right off the top, because you're getting that really photorealistic mojito vibe from it. It has a really nice vibrant mint as well. And that mint, lime, and rum combo, it's heaven. It's such a beautiful fragrance. Not the longest lasting, okay? I get okay performance out of it. I would say maybe 4 or 5 hours of performance out of it, but I just absolutely adore the opening, and I do not mind respraying it just for the opening. The rest of the fragrance is fantastic. It's Guerlain, of course it's going to be. Been around for like billions of years. Not that long, but a really long time. I would even call them the pioneers of the fragrance industry. If you like really photorealistic lime, mint, rum, or just mojitos, and you don't mind smelling like one, I definitely suggest checking out Guerlain Homme Eau de Parfum. Coming up next. This next one comes from the house of Rarana, and this is Salty Citrus. I don't know if you can see that there. Now, the only thing I don't like about Rarana Parfums is the bottles. Because when they're sitting on your shelf, you actually have to pick it up, look on the bottom of it to figure out which fragrance you're spraying. But regardless, this is a buttload of citrus, all right? It's salty citrus. Now, there aren't any C accords or salty notes in the note breakdown, but it does have clary sage and this really nice vetiver. Now, the clary sage is what I think is really contributing to the salty quality of this. This is a smorgasbord of citruses right off the bat. I absolutely love the bright citrusy opening with those salty notes. The citrus is bright, it's juicy, it's fruity, it's got a little sweetness to it, it's got a nice tartness to it. It's just an all-around banger and very long-lasting on my skin. This right here goes beast mode in the summer. When you heat up, man, this bad boy does exactly what it's supposed to do. It is very properly named Salty Citrus. It's salty and it's citrus. So if you like aquatic salty fragrances, if you love, bright, fruity, juicy, sweet citrus, definitely check out Rarana Salty Citrus. Last one on my list is coming from the house of Atelier des Ors, and this is Pomelo Riviera. Now, it's kind of cool because you got all these gold flakes in there. And yes, when you spray it, you shine. You basically turn yourself into a vampire from Twilight. But Pomelo Riviera starts out with a big old blast of juicy grapefruit. There's also some bergamot sitting in the background, and that's really just kind of blending in with the orange blossom that's in this and creating almost an orangey nuance. But you get pretty much every aspect of the grapefruit. You're getting the meat of the grapefruit. You're kind of getting that riney quality. It's beautiful. There's also some really nice white florals supporting everything. Now, this does have a salt accord in it, so you're getting that salty quality, but there's also a beautiful jasmine, a touch of rose, and of course that orange blossom. Full dry down, it's cedar and some musks, but it's very transportive. Now, I've never been to the Riviera, but I have been to the Redneck Riviera in Nashville. Pomelo Riviera is a very classy style citrus fragrance. It's very classy, elegant, but also casual. Now, these do pop up at discounters. That's where I got mine, and they are actually very reasonably priced. I think I got mine for about $120 for the 100 ml. But if you like grapefruit, if you like something that's a little bit different than, say, Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Forever, definitely check this bad boy out. It has decent longevity, and projection actually is really good within the first hour or so. So last up on my list, Atelier des Ors, Pomelo Riviera. All right, so that's my list. Can't wait to see what Mikey's got. Mikey, thank you so stinking much for giving me the privilege and the honor to be on your channel, man. I'm so excited to see where your channel is in another year, man. You're killing it. Keep doing what you do. But that is it for me today, guys. Always remember, you are stinking beautiful. And until next time, happy Centrals, guys.
Thank you, Brian, for providing some of your favorite citrus fragrances with us. Coming into this, I knew you would nail it. You absolutely did. And yes, I will leave a link for that Gallagher Overt in the description below if you want more information regarding that fragrance. But I'm not going to ramble too much. I'm going to get into the meat and potatoes of my portion of the list. And what I want to say about this first fragrance is that I think it's going to appeal to the type of person who is less interested in having a gratuitous amount of fragrances, but is more so interested in having a few key signature scents that he can rotate throughout the year. This first fragrance is a new release, so it came out in 2022. This one comes from Dior. The name of this fragrance is Dior Homme Sport 2021. So the reason why I'm recommending this fragrance has less to do with it being some groundbreaking fragrance which reinvents the wheel, and more so to do with Dior sticking to what they already know works and then building a well-composed composition with a ton of functionality. Dior Homme Sport 2021 is a citrusy, fresh, but also slightly spicy, super aldehydic fragrance which sits on a base of modern warm woods. It retains everything that was pleasant about Dior Homme 2020, and what they did essentially was tweak the DNA by adding some additional citrus, which gives the fragrance another level of freshness that its predecessor did not have. This fragrance is characterized by citrus notes of both lemon and bergamot. It's going to have very effervescent aldehydes, which give this fragrance a bit of brightness. It's going to have some fresh pink pepper, some elemi resin, which gives the fragrance a bit of depth and complexity. And yes, it does sit on a base of modern warm woods, most likely in the form of ISO E Super, which does appear to be the direction that the Dior Homme line has now taken. I will say that if you already own Dior Homme 2020, I do think this newest flanker would be slightly redundant to own, but for those of y'all that don't, this one right here might very well be one of the best options in the designer realm, as it just is such an easy reach. At the end of the day, if you're looking for something that smells good, has great performance, is priced right, and has name value, you're gonna be hard pressed to find a better option. Definitely a fragrance I've already been getting a ton of wear from this summer. At the number 1 spot from the house of Dior, we have Dior Homme Sport 2021. Okay, so the second fragrance we're gonna be talking about today is an absolute shoo-in for this type of video. Assuming you're a hardcore lover of citrus, this one's going to be right up your alley. Fragrance number 2 comes from Dolce & Gabbana. The name of this fragrance is Light Blue Forever. So what I want to say about this fragrance right out the gate is that it contains one of the most photorealistic grapefruit notes that I have ever experienced in a fragrance, which for that reason I do think this is kind of a polarizing scent that some people are going to find to be extremely appealing, while others might actually be repulsed because they don't want to wear a literal grapefruit. What you get basically is a very piercing, sour grapefruit note being blended with super ozonic molecules, which essentially just raise and elevate the transparency and effervescence of the grapefruit notes themselves. It's so effervescent to the point where it's almost hard for me to even pick up on any other notes in this fragrance. But what I can say with a fair amount of confidence is that this flanker here does not bear any resemblance to Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Eau Intense. So for that reason, it is unique. To my nose, I don't pick up on any salty, aquatic, or musky notes in this fragrance. Also, with a fragrance so chock full of citrus notes, I was pleasantly surprised by this fragrance's performance. In the high heat, this fragrance is absolutely magic. On my skin, I got about 7 or 8 hours, so that's exceptionally well for a fragrance that is predominantly citrus. You are technically wearing a grapefruit. I did pick this one up for around $50 to $60, so it's not breaking the bank. I heard it's a limited release, but I'm fairly sure you can just go to Macy's and pick up a bottle. It's not that hard. If you are an absolute lover of citrus, this is definitely one that should be on your radar. I've been getting a ton of wear out of it already this summer. At the number 2 spot from Dolce & Gabbana, we have Light Blue Forever. Okay, so the third citrus fragrance on my portion of the list is one that I picked up based off of Jeff from SoCal Scents' glaringly positive feedback. It's a new release launched in 2022, coming from the house of Lacoste. The name of this fragrance is Lacoste Blanc Fresh. Or Fresh. So the appeal and hype surrounding this fragrance has less to do with it being some ultra classy, super mature fragrance, and it has more to do with this being a fun, lighthearted, easy to wear fragrance with a high likability factor. And I say that with a fair amount of confidence because in the short time that I've owned this fragrance, it has already pulled me multiple compliments. For some of y'all, the second y'all see a Lacoste fragrance on the screen, you're already ready to throw the baby out with the bathwater. But hear me out, because I do think Lacoste is on to something with this one. This is in by no means a clone of YSL Y EDP. Let me reiterate, this is not a clone of YSL Y EDP, but do take in consideration that they both share like 7 of the same notes. So just take that for what it's worth. To my nose, the main players in this fragrance is going to be ginger, grapefruit, apple, as well as ambroxan. It opens up with some fresh ginger being blended with sugary, sweet citrus notes, and it has a dry down, a smooth, mellow, woody dry down with that ambroxan thrown in the mix to sort of elevate the whole composition and give it a bit of a push. This one has just now started to pop up on the discounter, so at the $35 to $50 price point, you are money. Do not pay retail for this fragrance. In my opinion, it is not worth retail, but at $35 to $50, you are good to go. If you want a fresher, less sweet, more citrusy blue fragrance take on the YSL Y EDP type DNA, this one's gonna be right up your alley. There's a reason why there's a fair amount of hype surrounding this fragrance. I would encourage you to check this one out. At the number 3 spot from Lacoste, we have Lacoste Blanc Fresh. So So what would a citrusy summer list be if I failed to include this next type of scent profile into the mix? Assuming you're already a fan of Dior Homme Cologne, Mercedes-Benz Cologne, Jimmy Choo Man Ice, as well as even Cedrat 37 from Le Labo, I am fairly certain you're going to enjoy this one as well. Fragrance number 4 comes from Adolfo Dominguez. The name of this fragrance is Aqua Fresca Citrus Cedro. So basically, Aqua Fresca Citrus Cedro is a less sweet, more woody take on this very popular DNA. Personally, I prefer Aqua Fresca Citrus Cedro because it comes across as being less synthetic and more well-rounded of a fragrance in general. For those of y'all who are not privy to what this scent profile entails, it's a very one-note forward type of scent profile. And by that, I mean you get very acidic, lemony notes over a bed of mild florals, sitting on a base and backbone of white, clean musk. I will also echo the sentiments of other reviewers when they say that the demeanor of how this one wears is similar to a Cool Crisp glass of lemonade. I do believe those comparisons are valid and warranted. I will also say that of all the fragrances on my portion of the list, Aqua Fresca Citrus Cedro is going to come across as the least complex, but what it lacks in complexity, it more than makes up for in being one of the most reinvigorating fragrances, at least on my portion of the list. If you're looking for a simple yet beautifully composed fragrance that's going to leave you feeling fresh, clean, reinvigorating, and refreshed, this is definitely one worth checking out. Even more so now that Mercedes-Benz Cologne is getting harder and harder to find, and Dior Homme Cologne is still up there in price, and this one's going to cost you a few bucks less. At the number 4 spot, one of my favorite citrus fragrances of all time from Adolfo Dominguez, we have Aqua Fresca Citrus Cedro. Okay, so the last citrusy fragrance that I'm going to be recommending on my portion of the list just so happens to be my most recent acquisition, as I was gifted this one for Father's Day. This one came out in 2022, so it was just recently launched. This one comes from Polo. The name of this fragrance is Polo Earth. So I'm gonna say right out the gate that this one smells like a hybrid of a couple other fragrances that I have smelt before, that being Tom Ford's Neroli Portofino, as well as John Varvatos Artisan Pure, which I could not be more thrilled by because I love Artisan Pure. It's literally one of my favorite citrus fragrances of all time. This one is a simple, beautifully composed fragrance, but there's more to it than meets the eye. You get that fresh and clean floral neroli, and you get the bright citruses, but there is also some green petitgrain thrown into the mix, and it also has a cooling effect coming from ylang-ylang as well as mint. There is also some rose thrown into the composition, but I don't pick up on any major rose accords in the fragrance. This one here is not a beast mode fragrance. By no means would I ever call this a beast mode fragrance. Performance is about 4 to 5 hours, but the good thing is you can literally drench yourself in this fragrance. It's my scent of the day, so I am about to drench myself. The price point on this one is about $80. I do think that's a little steep. Wait for this one to hit the discounters at $50. You're gonna be money. This one here even has a creamy dry down, almost akin to Bergamot 22. So there's a lot going on in this fragrance. More to this fragrance than meets the eye. I do hope to do a full and in-depth review of this fragrance in the days ahead. But until then, I'm just gonna be enjoying the fragrance. Last but not least, one of my favorite citrus fragrances right now coming from Polo, we have Polo Earth. All right, you guys, that's pretty much gonna wrap it up for me. Those are 10 citrusy fragrances that should be on your radar for summer 2022. I wanna thank Brian over at My2Scents for doing this collaboration. Thank you, brother. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate all the love you've ever showed this channel. You were one of the few people shouting my channel out when I had less than 100 subs. Everybody go sub to Brian right now. Listen, if you enjoy fragrance related content, if you found value in this video, I am going to encourage you to subscribe to the channel. Listen, it takes like 2 seconds, you guys. It's free dollars. It literally costs you nothing. We have a ton of exciting content coming down the pipe, including more collaborations. You never know who's gonna pop up, so stay tuned. Until next time, you guys, y'all take care, stay safe. Bye.